everyone says you are leading this league through a period of hypergrowth. And I think there's no doubt to that. It was so exciting to watch the draft. It was so exciting to watch my two boys want to watch the draft, the WNBA draft, which was a first. And we have to start there because Caitlin Clark going #1 to Indiana, we've seen the impact that she has had on college basketball. But the question is, what impact do you think she and these other amazing players who are rookies now along with her are going to have on the league?
Yeah, it's such a great time. We're hitting the confluence, Julia, of a variety of positive elements. It's these players, they have huge brands coming in. NIL, which is just endorsements in the pros, has actually been a net positive because they already have, Angel Reese has like 7 or 8 million social media followers, and she's outstanding. And I got to meet her this weekend, and Caitlin and the whole group. And Camila Cardoso is a great story, coming over at 15 years old from Brazil with the dream of playing professional basketball. She said to me on stage when I read her name, "Thank you for making my dream come true." So, it's really just an outstanding draft class, joining an amazing set of 144 players. It's going to be competitive. There's, one thing I know after a long 33 years at Deloitte, that you need 3 things in sports. You need rivalries, household names, and games of consequence. And March Madness was chock full of that, and the WNBA season hopefully will be too. But we're really looking forward to capitalizing on this moment because it is a moment we're ready for. If you don't follow us, 2 years ago, we were the first of all, we're the longest tenured women's professional sports league in the country by double any other. But we're also the first to raise capital, and we raised $75 million in February of 22, not knowing that we were preparing for this moment, and now it's very clear that, thank gosh we did that. We've really changed the game in marketing and digital and globalizing the game. You mentioned expansion. We're going to expand up to 16 teams in the next few years. We're at 13 now with Golden State coming in next year. So it's just this confluence of all of this happening at one time.
So you mentioned human capital. We have to talk about pay or play. There has been a lot of shock, a lot of outrage at the fact that Caitlin Clark, top draft pick, is going to earn $76,535 as part of the rookie wage scale. Now, this is not something the team decides. It's not something you decide. This is the rookie wage scale. And it's worth pointing out, this is less than 1% of what her male counterpart will make in the first year. Twitter X was exploding with this, a lot of articles about this. How do you explain this to fans?
All right, well, let me clarify first, because it's proxy season, right? No CEO do you just put the base pay in there. You put their bonus, you put their stock options, you put everything. Caitlin has the ability to make up to $500,000 just in WNBA wages this year. So, of course, they're just looking at a base which is collectively bargained. And actually, it's low because she's the #1 pick. She'll make a little more than that. But she also has millions and millions of dollars of endorsements. She's actually, because she declared to become pro, her endorsements are higher in dollar value. She has a global platform now, not just a U.S. platform. So she's going to do just fine, as will the top players in the league, as every league does. Also, those comparisons to the men, those men's leagues are 75 to 120 years old. We're tipping off our 28th season. I would say if you looked at them 28 seasons in, we're further ahead. But I realize we still have a lot of work to do. And it's all about the ecosystem around us that drives revenue. There's 2 main revenue drivers for the league and 1 main one for teams. Media rights, the valuation of media rights for women's sports has been way undervalued for too long. It was probably the biggest shock when I came in from the business world. And maybe a lot of you accomplished women in this room will say, yes, we're just a microcosm of broader society on that. And then corporate partnerships, less than 1% of all corporate partnerships in sports are women's sports. Now we're changing that. A bit, and this momentum will help us do that. And then the teams, it's gate, attend, buy merch, tickets, and watch. And a lot of the quantitative factors that go into media rights is watching. And that 24 million people at peak, by the way, our peak was over 3 million for the draft. That matters because that's going to help us in our next media deal. And that'll help us pay the players better travel. And we're going to be, I've been saying, we're going to set this league up for the next, not just the next 3 to 5 years, which is the way you usually think, probably the next 3 decades in this next media negotiation.
And that